Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and today I'm reviewing Framework from Pegasus Spill. Framework is a 1 to 4 player game of trying to accomplish your goals in this tile laying game. The general idea is you're going to be grabbing these tiles every single round depending on the player count. Let's say you're playing a 2-player game, or let's say you're playing a 3-player game because I've grabbed 4 tiles. You're going to go ahead and put down tiles equal to the number of players plus 1. You're going to lay these out on the board, and these tiles will have frames and goals on them. This over here is a green frame, these are 2 red frames, and this particular tile wants 4 silver frames, 5 brown frames, and 8 brown frames in order to score those goals. Now, the game's going to have the first player picking the first and last tile, and the other player is picking the other tiles as you go through it. Let's just go through a quick couple of rounds so you can get an idea of what's going on here. The general idea, though, is you're trying to get rid of these. The first player to get rid of all of their little objective tokens, they win the game. So, let's go ahead and just simulate this over here. We're going to have myself picking, let's go with a nice little, starting off with a double frame. I do like those. We're going to have the second player pick this over here, third player picks that. Actually, the third player probably would pick this, let's be honest. And then I'll take this and I'll add it to my board. There, we have other players doing their own thing. I'm not really going to worry about what they're doing in the game, so I'll just take those off the game as we go through it. We'll have the next player goes ahead, we'll put down 4 tiles. Again, number of players plus 1. They'll go ahead, ooh, a triple frame is awesome, especially when you consider that they have this tile here. That works well for them. We'll explain more about that in a second. We'll give them that. This player over here wants a little bit of silver over there, so we'll take this double frame, give them to that. That's fine with me. I don't actually mind having this red frame. It's not the best right now, but it will help me out. Let's put this down over there. And again, just going through this. So again, continue the process. More tiles. This time the second player is picking. I'm trying to be somewhat accurate to what the tiles they have and trying to pick accordingly. They're going to go ahead and pick this over here. This one probably works well for them. Back to me over here. I can try to lean into the red, but let's go ahead and start off with giving you an idea of what it looks like to accomplish a goal. I'm going to grab this tile over here, which wants 3 red frames next to it. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, and the reason that counts as 3 and not 1 is because chains of the same color always chain. So right now this over here, that's considered to be 3 red frames, versus this would not add to that total because it's not connected to those. You can also have it on the other side, at which point it still counts as a 3 and 1 for a total of 4. But right now, we have 3 red frames. We're also starting off our yellow connections over there. We're going to put this down over there. In fact, we probably should put this on this side, honestly, because this tile also wants yellow next to it. We'll put that down, and this player is going to go ahead and grab their tiles. We'll grab this over here, and continue for a few more rounds of play. So, putting out more tiles. We got one more there, one more. Back to me as the first player. I can finally choose again. Now, I think this one probably does work well for me. It leans into the red, and it gives me a yellow as well. So let's grab this, tossing it over here, with the goal of putting another yellow here to connect them. And then we're going to go ahead and have this player grab this one over here. This yellow probably works for them. This player wants that double silver for sure, which does leave me with this yellow doubled up, which I think we're just going to go ahead and put over here and hope for the best. We'll go ahead and grab some more tiles. Again, going through this, we're now back to them as the first player over there, and we're going to put these out. Not as many cool frames going on. They'll go ahead and grab the goal and frame one. They really do want, they don't really have a lot of these that work for them over here. We'll grab the frame because at least it's a frame, which isn't the worst for me. I'm going to lean heavily into that red situation and toss this down over here, hoping to build up my reds more. Let's do like 2 more rounds, hopefully, or maybe just until we get a little bit more action going on with our tokens. We're going to put out more. Back to them over there, and they're picking these, and they're going to go ahead and lean into this over here because it does help them out. Actually, this one, based on what they have, you know what, they probably might want, yeah, they probably want this one over here, which is fine with me. I'll take this yellow. This yellow makes a chain of 3 yellows, which means we now get this goal done because we have 3 yellows over there, and that's going to be either or on this color. That's either 3 silver or 3 yellows, either one of those. They're going to go ahead and grab this one here, which leaves me with this, which again leans into that process there, but this one will toss over here. These 2 browns will feed into that brown nicely, and hopefully as I build up my reds, that will feed in there. We're going to go ahead and do this one more time over here, or a few more times. I don't know. I'm just going to keep going because I want to keep playing this game. And there's a solo mode as well, by the way. But we're going to go over here. They're going to pick a tile. They'll grab, their browns probably are good for them, but they're going to grab this one over here. We have this player grab the yellow over here, which is fine by me. I'll grab the red, which works out nicely. So already right now, just by putting this here, we've now triggered this tile here because we now have 4 reds. 1, 2, 3, 4. As soon as we have a 7th red, that will further trigger, giving us more tiles over there. In fact, it will trigger for both of these over there, and this one goes over there. Let's again drop longer in this little puzzle here as we figure out how to optimize. We have the next player going, and they've been leaning fairly heavily into those greens over there. They'll take that. I'll go ahead and take this. The problem is, do I put this here where it adds to my reds? In fact, I might put it here. This is actually not the worst because it will nicely cascade into this brown. If I can get a brown here, I'll be able to create a grouping of 4 browns, which will help for this already. In the meantime, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reds, which means I'm able to accomplish that. That yellow is sadly wasted. I could have put it over here, but you can't really have everything. And then we'll go ahead and have this one here, that one there. And let's do one last round while I'm first player. Whatever I get, and we'll figure it out from there. So, a few things will happen here. First of all, off the bat, I could choose this 6N thing, but I think I'm going to choose this one. This gives me the frame I want. It connects those browns, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, which means I can put this down over here now. It starts me off with the greens, which nothing I'm really building right now has green, but it is what it is. We're going to have this player go ahead and grab this. We'll have this player grab this over here, and we'll have this player grab, and I'll go ahead and grab this. Now this one doesn't help me at the moment because right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But as I continue building up the reds and silvers, contrasted with this is either or. This is both combined. So I could have 5 red and 1 silver, and that would give me the 6. And to that end, in fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and toss this in the center here, knowing full well I can try to grow these out in other directions. So we're going to toss that right there. And that is basically framework. First person to get rid of these tiles first wins the game. That's how the game plays. So, once again, quick recap. Every single round, you put out tiles equal to the number of players plus 1. Starting with the first player, you're going to take the first and last tile. First player rotating every single round. As you place frames or tiles down into your grid, you're trying to be mindful of the frames because they're going to fulfill goals, and then the things that want goals because they care about that. And the way you try to figure out how to optimize around that setting, how to optimize around what you place out, what you combine, and scoring all your goals. Eventually, the player who gets rid of these first wins the game. Which brings us to the review, starting off with ease of play. Well, it looks like a page or two. I mean, most of this teaches really me playing in the game rather than teaching the game. This is a very easy game to understand. Grab a tile, place it down, go around and around and around. If first player gets 2 tiles, everyone else gets 1 tile. Ta-da! That's the entire game. Be mindful of your frames. Be mindful of the fact that you can chain frames, especially when you have those multicolors. So over here, I can chain green and brown through the same area. We can have red continuing to chain in different ways. You can see brown can cross over. If I had another brown tile over here, this brown is crossing through a sequence of reds, which is nice. So you have that chaining aspect of the game. As far as what I like, don't like, and can see others not liking, first of all, the game is just pure simplicity. The game itself is it's 2 seconds of rules, and then the puzzle of optimization around it is everything you take is both contributing to your tableau in terms of giving you goals to accomplish, but also helping you accomplish more goals. That trade-off of taking the thing that's going to score you 2 or 3 goals versus building a larger and bigger network that will score you 4 or 5 goals across the course of the game, that's the entire game. The entire game is grab a tile, place it into a tableau, try to optimize around that. The playtime for this is also really quick. It depends on the player count to a degree, but you're looking at around 22, maybe 35 minutes for the game. Box says 30 minutes. Yeah, that's about right. 20 to 35 minutes depending on player count. 2 players can knock out a game of this very quickly. A full 4 players might take you as much as 35, maybe 40 minutes if people are taking their time with it. It is fast playing, and the depth to simplicity, accessibility, and playtime is incredible. Overall, I just really like that aspect. And then the chaining. The chaining is something over here, the process of chaining things through each other in order to be able to create more and more complex networks. That gives you a lot of fun to the game that isn't present in the game's counterparts, Sagani and Nova Luna. We'll talk more about those in the recommendations, but this is the 3rd game from Uwe Rosenberg in this series of games, and this one has an extra degree of chaining with that isn't present in those other 2. Overall, it's just a quick, fast, punchy, solid game that gives you a high degree of what you can try to get done within the playtime. Overall, just a really, really solid game there. As far as what I don't like in the game, the only really one thing, although it is the biggest thing here for me, which is just the lack of variability to the engine, to the game. This is the same exact thing every single time you play it. Granted, the tiles that come out will slightly adjust the strategy of what you build out and how, but there's no variability to the experience. There's no goals, there's no differences, there's no modules, there's no adjustments. This is the same exact thing every time you play it. And that, combined with how easy it is to pick up and play, means it's the kind of thing that you might find yourself 10-15 plays deep in and starting to get a little bit bored of the same puzzle if you are tabling this frequently. So it's a really solid what it does. but it does have a complete lack of variability to the little puzzle that's going on here. As far as what I can see others not liking, this is very much multiplayer solitaire. If you don't enjoy building out your own little thing and seeing who gets to the end first, this is that game. The only interaction with the other players is vying for the tiles in the middle, and there's not a lot of decision space to that. It's the kind of thing that, again, playing solo versus playing other players, you can easily mimic the basic idea of the play. It's very minimal in terms of the player interaction. And then secondly, the only other thing I can think of would be that sometimes, depending on first player opportunities, you have what I would call uneven hands. Effectively, you'll have tiles dealt down to the center, and then my turn as first player, I might have a great selection of 4 tiles and have that excellent tile I can pick, and then also even have a good last tile, and then on your turn as first player, maybe you're the only one who gets a good tile and no one else gets anything, or maybe you get nothing good because there's no good tiles that came out that round. There are better and worse tiles, arguably speaking, especially like those triple frame tiles, and then depending on when they come out, you may just not have access to them as frequently. So there is a little bit of that luck kind of in the mix. As far as final thoughts on Framework, I really like this. I really like this game. I like the entire Sagani Nova Luna trilogy of games to begin with, and I really like this one in the series. This to me is the favorite of those, primarily because of the pure simplicity of it. This dials down any of the extra fiddly rules that go on, and the rules aren't that fiddly, but it takes a simple game, makes it even simpler, adds in the chaining of the frames, giving you a really enjoyable puzzle for it. For me, this is a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoy it. That rating is factoring in the fact that it is a lighter game. This is not going to compare to, you know, the giant Euros or Ameritrash area control games in your collection. But in terms of what this game is trying to do, in terms of what space it's in, this is solid, it's accessible, it's easy to play, it's fast. I enjoy this one very, very much. It's a 4.5 out of 5 for me. As far as other game recommendations, first of all, Sagani and Nova Luna. Those are 2 other games, different publishers, but same designer, that have the same basic idea as far as the gameplay mechanisms at play, as far as, you know, having that tile laying aspect and trying to figure out how to put things down that both give you objectives and give you things that complete objectives. Similar styles, different gameplays to them. And then if you're looking for something a little different, Project L is another fast-moving tableau game as you quickly grab polyomino pieces and try to complete your own little puzzles and goals. In any case, and until next time, I hope you found this video helpful. As always, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and I hope you have a good one.